that Trump increased annual spending to HBCUs, and you still called him a racist?
Yes.
Let me ask, what has he said to make him racist? Like, what definitive proof gives you the idea that he's racist?
People don't have to explicitly say I am racist for you to know that they're racist. Do you want me to find stuff to back it up? Because I just don't know it off the top of my head.
I'm a Mexican, I'm half Mexican, half white, and I support Donald Trump. I mean, everybody's saying, oh, he hates Mexicans. I'm like, no, he doesn't.
Well, there's a girl who said that he hates Mexicans. I would love to bring her back up here. There she is. Would you be willing to talk to her?
I'll talk to her, yeah. Hi, I'm Sloan.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, there we go. So he heard the conversation we were having where you said that maybe Donald Trump might be a little bit racist because of his treatment of Mexicans.
Right.
I was
talking about minorities in general, not just. I just want to make that clear. I was talking about minorities in general, not just Mexicans.
Right. But we've specifically talked about the border wall and him
his
saying
immigration policies. Yes.
Yeah. So this gentleman over here doesn't agree with you, and he's half Mexican. Do you want to give her your side?
I think it's ridiculous to say, just like all cops are bad, obviously not all cops are bad, saying all criminals are black, or not all criminals are black, saying that all Mexicans are bad, they're not, that's not what he believes, because everybody's side is guilty of pulling everybody into one group and generalizing and saying all these people are bad, all this, but everybody knows that's not what you mean. Whenever people on the left say all cops are bad, do they mean it? Do they mean every single cop is bad?
Well, in talking about that point, Donald Trump was specifically talking about MS-13 gang members. He was not talking about Mexicans. That's not what his goal was. Do you believe in that too? That he was talking about the gang members? I don't know if you watched that clip.
It's very obvious. Whenever someone says generalizing, they're really not. You can say Mexicans, but it's obviously you don't mean all Mexicans. And there's an understanding that's there to be had that I think goes over a lot of people's heads when stuff like that is said.
I think though too, you must acknowledge that as I'm assuming, are you half Mexican and half white? Okay, so I feel like you need to acknowledge that your experience as a half white Mexican might be a little bit different than someone's someone who's full Mexican. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What about my mom? My mom is completely Mexican. She was born and raised in San Diego. Her parents are first generation they came here. She was dirt poor. Dirt poor, worked everything her entire life. You know where she went? She went to Harvard. She got into Harvard off of working. That's a role model for me, because my mom, who started from nothing, who's a Mexican, who's had literally nothing, worked her entire life to get me where I am, and she's not half white, and she supports Donald Trump.
I don't get your point. What does that have to do with Donald Trump?
My point is that regardless if I'm half white, half Mexican, full Mexican, it doesn't matter. You can still see the stuff that goes on and it doesn't hinder you.
I still don't get how that portrays to you not thinking Trump is racist.
The point is, and hopefully I can help bridge the gap here, the point that he's saying is you said that his experience isn't the same as a Mexican, a full-blooded Mexican, because he's half white. He just told you his mom is full Mexican, a first-generation immigrant. She came here poor. Stop me if I'm wrong, but I'm going off of what you said. Yeah. Poor, had nothing. She came here as an immigrant. She went to Harvard. She worked her ass off and went to Harvard. Her being brown didn't stop her. Is that what you're trying to say?
There's an American dream that's meant to be had.
No, I completely understand. My parents are 100% Puerto Rican. They came here and they built their own lives. I completely get what you're saying. But I don't think that just because your mom had a good experience with her immigration, bless her, I'm happy that she had a good experience and she was able to give you the life that you have. You go to UCF, that's amazing. I do think, however, that that has nothing to do with whether or not Trump is racist. The fact that your mom had a good life, that doesn't mean that Trump isn't racist.
Let me ask, what has he said to make him racist? What definitive proof gives you the idea that he's racist?
People don't have to explicitly say I am racist for you to know that they're racist.
Okay, but what has he done?
His speech is talking about immigration, the way he talks about Mexicans, the way he talks about black people at these protests, the way he talks about Hispanic people, the way he talks about women. I just personally do not think it's okay. And if you want me to get it out, Do you want me to like get quotes out?
I want you.
Here's
No,
the thing.
if you think someone's racist, you should be able to back that up and say,
That's what
go
I was
ahead.
about to say. Here's the thing. I think it's 100% okay. If you
You're being rude to him.
if you think he's racist, that's 100% okay. Like I can think you're a racist and that's fine, but I'm not going to go out there and blast you as a racist and try to like just spread these opinions basically. I mean, there's no room for that to be had on both sides. So
I mean, I'm not allowed to spread my opinion. That's like the whole point
I
of it.
didn't say that. I said you're not allowed to basically slander him and call him a racist when like that's just your opinion that he's a racist.
If you can back it up.
Do you want me to find stuff to back it up? Because like I just don't know it off the top of my head, but I'll find it if you want me to.
If you don't know it off the top of your head, why are you calling him a racist?
Why would I know specific quotes off the top of my head?
Because if you're gonna call someone a racist,
Quotes from like all of his speeches off the top of your head?
I don't call him a racist.
Do you? Give me some right now.
I don't call him a racist though. You are making that accusation that he's a racist. Back it up.
By that logic, if you're saying he's not a racist, like give me to back up why he's not a racist. You're making
Joe Biden's a racist?
What?
You think Joe Biden's racist?
I don't think that this is about Joe Biden right now.
When Joe Biden said, like, what did he say? Something about all these, like, poor kids being just as bright as, what did he say? You know the quote,
He said that poor kids are just as bright as white kids, insinuating he believes black people are poor. He is Donald Trump. You want proof that Donald Trump isn't a racist? He has raised wages for black Americans, specifically black women. 71% of the working black women are white-collar workers. That's not hard labor. That's high-paying office jobs that they are getting a good wage for. He also lowered the corporate tax rate to 21%. Under President Obama and Joe Biden, it was doubled that, and that helps all communities, including black people. He also increased annual funding to historically black colleges and universities by 25%, $250 million more dollars annually to black colleges. If he were a racist, why would he do that?
I don't think that the conversation about whether or not Trump is racist should involve other candidates and other things. I think that I understand why you're here is to, Biden versus Trump, who's better. But I personally don't completely endorse Joe Biden and think that he's the best candidate for the job. But, personally, but I don't think that in the conversation with, oh, this person's a racist, it shouldn't be, well, this person's also racist, or this person, which is a little bit, you have to admit, it's a little, that is what you said.
No, we did not say Joe Biden is also racist.
So here's the thing. Me bringing Joe Biden into it is you said you want quotes from Trump's speech. I brought up a Joe Biden quote that seems clearly racist, but I'm not calling him a racist, is it?
We're not talking about Joe Biden, which is the point of this. Like, I understand what you're trying.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying, but that's okay. My point is that just because someone says something, and maybe it's a slip up, maybe it's not, they're not immediately racist.
Just because someone says something racist doesn't mean they're racist. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying actions speak louder than words, and have you seen what Trump has done?
Well, I'm saying actions also speak louder than words.
Actions speak louder than words. Have you seen what Trump has done?
Have you seen what Trump has done?
Have you not also seen how he's spoken about these protests that are about black people? The whole...
Come back here. Come back. So loud that we can't talk and have a real conversation.
I understand
That's
what
the
you're
issue.
saying, but also I think that his actions and his words surrounding like the Black Lives Matter protests, even the ones that aren't violent, speak very loudly to how he feels about this entire movement. When people were protesting outside of gyms with rifles, with guns, no masks on, he was calling them patriots, he was calling them heroes. But when people are protesting actual issues like the lives of millions of Americans, like his tone of voice like absolutely changes, and you have to admit that. Like it's not...
Everybody who open carried, whenever they protest, what did they destroy anything? Did they destroy anything? Were any lives lost? Did anything like that happen with those protests?
I think the riots are completely different than the protests. I'm talking about the protests.
If that's the case, if we're talking peaceful protest to peaceful protest, I don't think Trump's necessarily talking about peaceful protests. If he is, then call me out on it. I might be wrong, but I don't think that's what he's doing.
Well, I just think that you can definitely tell his tone changes when he's talking about white Americans fighting for something they want versus Americans of color and Americans who might be minorities and all that stuff.
But I have to ask.
I have to wait. I'm sorry if I can interrupt you really quick. You said that you came here to get different people's opinions. I feel like what you're, and I'm leaving right after this because I'm kind of like tired of this conversation, but I think literally what you're doing is trying to get people to say a different opinion than you just so you can attack them and make them think like they're wrong, which I don't think is okay. You're not enabling a full discussion. You're speaking, you're throwing your opinion, and you can shake your head and nod like you don't know.
I'm not enabling a full discussion when these people have been shouting to remove me from campus, shouting you down, shouting a discussion between you two down, but I'm not enabling a full discussion.
I thought this was very civil.
It was.
I fully respect you. I don't care what your political beliefs are. As a person, I respect you. It's as simple as that.
Animosity here. I just think like the way you're maneuvering this conversation is just a little bit like to fit your benefit and like fit your narrative. And like the way you're shaking your head, like you're patronizing.
Because like I am patronizing you because these people have been screaming for the police to remove me from campus, and you accuse me, shush, and then you keep interrupting me, and then you accuse me of not enabling a discussion. I told you to come over here for a discussion. I asked you, do you want to have a discussion with someone and myself? I am enabling discussion. These people have been trying to get the cops to remove me. I'm going to laugh at your accusation that I'm the one trying to stifle free speech and not have a real discussion.
You've been throwing things at me instead of asking me, like you've been like, okay, well, did you know this, and this, and that's what I'm
Did you know it?
Yes, I read the news. Like
You knew that Trump increased annual spending to HBCUs, and you still called him a racist.
Yes, because I still think, regardless of what you do, there's certain things you have to do as a president, regardless of whether or not you actually care about the people you're doing it for. Do you think any president actually cares about the lower class? No, they have to try and help them because that's their job.
I just want proof that he's racist.
Okay, and I tried to find it, and you told me to be in the moment and respect him while I was.
That's the issue. If you're calling someone racist, back it up. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thank you so much for this discussion. It was so nice to meet you, Sloan. Mill.
Mill? Mm-hmm. Nice to meet you. I appreciate the discussion.
Absolutely.
She didn't want to shake our hands earlier. All right, well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I hope everything goes well. Take care.
To watch that interaction in its entirety, uncut and uncensored, go to libertyhangout.tv. We have behind the scenes footage and a lot more coming out of this trip. Go to libertyhangout.tv right now to watch Kaitlin Bennett uncensored. Not only will you get to watch exclusive content from me, but you'll get to say you stood for the truth, you stood against radical leftism, and you stood up for America. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share, hit that subscribe button, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you want to support my work, you can become a patron at patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett and receive cool perks like an autographed photo from me in the mail each month. Or you can go to KaitlinBennett.org and get up to 75% off and free shipping on supplements and merchandise to support my work and start living a healthy life. My favorite product? It's Turbo Force because it gives me all the energy I need to make it through a long day of doing interviews. There are tons of other health supplements you can choose from to keep your body healthy during these uncertain times. And check out the website banned.video to see uncensored content from conservative creators that have been erased from social media.